Another season of Selling Sunset. Another year of you being caught in a lot of drama.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about season 8 being out in the world?
My PTSD is back. It's the same feeling. Honestly, even when you live it, you just are never ready for reliving it.
What's wrong? This show. What's happening? What's happening?
We ended last year with you wanting out of the O group. Ultimately, why did you come back and also come back to the show?
Contractually? I'm just kidding. Yes and no. I think that considering we shall not name her, was not coming back, that was number one. I think it was, I do love the girls, and especially in that moment, I love the girls a little bit more. And, I do have a great job and it is what it is. So I figured it would pass and blow over, but I'm not necessarily sure if that's really gonna happen.
From one storm into a different storm.
Definitely.
You find yourself in quite the mess with Chelsea this year. A different version of the mess than we've known.
Year.
Do you have any regrets at all about how it shook out in the end?
Yeah, I should have not told her.
Okay.
Honestly, yes and no. I never have regrets. I am who I am and I do what I think is best in that moment. I know that I had good intentions and I know that everything is not necessarily the way it looks on TV, and she is well aware that she knew well before this show. So that's all I have to say about that.
He saw your husband at the W Hotel in Hollywood with some girl. She pulled up receipts.
What did the messages say?
It said that he saw them making out in the lobby and that he's seen him
making out in the lobby.
When you make the choice to bring her this information you've gotten, that she seems receptive to it. She buys into it. She almost thanks you for bringing it to her. One episode later, the song changes.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Why do you think she switched up on you?
I think that this was her moment, in true honesty. This is her moment to redeem herself. This was her moment to take her power back, and I felt like I was doing the right thing. And so when it panned out this way, I was like, oh, I see what you did there. I'm like, okay, so you wanted everyone to dislike me since day one, and now you took something that I did as a nice thing for you and turned it on me. And I was like, okay.
How are you gonna come back around and now say this is on me?
What took place? I don't mind breaking bread with my enemies. I just rather know that they're my enemy when I'm breaking bread with them. Do you know what I mean?
Now I'm starting to get really pissed.
I think there's a lot of reasons for why her marriage didn't work, but I'm not in her marriage, so I can't speak for her marriage. But what I can say is, as a woman that, wants to stick by their man and wants to make it work, you do. So there's obviously other things happening that she made the choice for herself, and there's a reason for that, and I think it's a lot more than what I told her.
I talked to her a lot about you.
I'm sure.
So let's flip that script the other way now.
Yeah.
She said she cannot trust any information you bring her and feels that she could probably line up people down Sunset Boulevard who feel the same.
Probably.
Why do you think she
To each his own. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't trust me, but you're not with your husband, so you can't trust my information? Okay.
Do you trust the information that Amanda Lynn brought you?
I do, but I was like, everyone take caution that there is no, I didn't see this with my own eyes. She didn't see this with her own eyes. I'm just telling you what I heard. You do what you need to do with that information. So figure it out, don't figure it out, I don't care. But that's not my responsibility. I did my part, I told you what you needed to know.
You, in the unprecedented fourth wall break that we experienced this season of explaining kind of how these scenes come together, say, Chrishell and Emma knew.
They all knew.
You were filming with Amanda Lynn.
Every single one of them, and I have those receipts, so.
Chelsea said that she has heard that Amanda Lynn was desperate to be on the show, wanted to get cast so bad that she possibly coordinated with you to concoct this scheme to bring it on the show to secure her a spot on the show.
Oh, I see. Of course. Okay, so do I disagree with Amanda wanting to be on? Absolutely not. Of course she did. They've been interviewing her for years, and of course, everybody wants to be on our show. And if you have something to get you there, sure. But is it my fault? No. And why would I be dumb enough to go and tell you in December? Why wouldn't I just let her do it on air? Because the only thing you're saying is that I set this up, but if I wouldn't have told you that I knew this, then would you still say I set it up?
When you say you told them in December, what did you tell them in December?
This information, that her husband's cheating on her.
So before you filmed this scene in March.
Before I filmed this whole season.
You knew this? Okay.
Yes, they knew, all of them.
Did you ever think to bring it to Chelsea off camera?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I told them in December off camera.
I thought you meant just Chrishell and Emma. You told.
No.
Oh.
No. So originally, I called Emma directly and I said, hey, I was waiting for the holidays to end because I found out right before the holidays. And I said, I'm not gonna ruin their holidays. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna sit on this. So I called Emma and I said, babe, I have this information. I know that she like literally hopes I get hit by a bus and dies, so I'm not gonna tell her this, and I think it would be awful coming from me, and I think you should tell her. And she was like, okay, well, how do you know this? Where did you hear it from? So I tell her the whole story. She calls her and tells her. Chelsea calls me directly. We have a full conversation, very, very clear. She knows exactly every detail. And I was like, we were in good standing. So then when Amanda came about, keep in mind, what she's saying about me bringing Amanda is true, because this all came about because I called Alana the new girl vanilla. They asked me to describe her as a coffee in one of my interviews, and I said she would be a vanilla latte. And the sweetest girl ever.
It's not a bad description.
I don't think it's bad. I think it's accurate. And I think that I wasn't trying to be mean. You asked me to describe the girl. I described her. So with that being said, they said, okay, after my interview, like, okay, so who do you have if she's so vanilla? And I was like, the same girl I've been telling you I have. That's the only person I have for you. You brought her on 7, like, why don't you bring her on? Did I know this information? Yes. So if she wants to hold me responsible in the sense of like, we all knew the information, I'm like, yeah, but I can't go to production and switch up the honest answer that I've had since season 6. Why would I all of a sudden now not want Amanda? If I do that, production picks up on it like they did with Cassandra.
It would be even bigger.
I'm gonna lose-lose.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I say at this point.
Was Amanda your original source of the information in December
Yes.
as well? Okay, so
Yeah.
this was, you were rehashing stuff that had played off camera
Yes.
because it needed to play
Makes
out on the
sense.
show.
However, I had never seen the receipts until we were at that lunch.
Okay.
Making out with her?
Yeah. I said, shut up 2 days ago. I swear on my mom. On my mom.
As viewers in a she said place by season's end,
Of course, yeah.
why should the viewers believe your side of the story over Chelsea's?
Honestly, I don't care if they do.
Oh, okay.
Truly, I know who I am and I know what I stand on, and I don't really care if people believe me or not. Like, my character, who I am, I have been consistently since I've come on this show. I don't switch up, I don't waver, you're not gonna bully me, like, you got the wrong person. So if you believe Chelsea's victim play to, change her narrative this season, like, okay.
You were very upset with how Emma handled this.
Yeah.
I want to know flat out the truth. I feel like you orchestrated everything. You're the one who set everything up because Amanda had tea on Chelsea.
Okay, so I have the power to set up a scene?
Where did the two of you stand now?
Well, it's interesting because it didn't make the cut that she apologized and wanted to go to lunch, but we stand exactly where we will always stand from here on out, which is nowhere. I don't go backwards on things. Like, you have one chance, maybe 2, but I was very hurt by everything considering the way that I was treated the last 2 seasons, the things that she did to me, said to me, to sit here and say that how do you do this to a mother? I wasn't a mother? Like, there's so many things that I'm just like, I don't understand you and your whole behavior, and like, who was I even friends with? Like,
Do you feel like you don't know who Emma is?
not at all. After watching that especially, and my turn up at the end was very much once I started hearing everything that was going on, I was like, all right, okay.
The season builds to a confrontation that never comes. Nicole gives you this information, alleges that Emma's been the other woman in somebody else's marriage.
Yeah.
She's been involved with people she shouldn't have been.
Interesting.
People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, especially that one.
It's essentially ammo given to you to go call her a hypocrite and blow this thing up. Why did you ultimately decide against doing that?
I want to be very clear that even though Emma and I are not getting along and I don't want to continue a relationship, I by no means believe that rumor per se. Like, I don't necessarily believe Nicole. I don't know where this information came from. I was very much thrown into the scene at the end because they wanted that type of situation. But I wouldn't say I'm gonna like jump at the bit for anything that comes out of Nicole's mouth.
Got it, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that shines some light on the rumor hit a nerve with Chrishell and Chelsea.
It should, especially if it's not true. Like, people like lying on me not knowing about other kids with my child's father. Like, really? Okay, so it does hurt when you hear these things and then the world just decides that they believe it too.
What was your reaction to seeing their posts on social media? They were both kind
Oh,
of
it's
prolific.
hilarious. Honestly, I'm all for it. Do what you want to do. I mean, it's aggressive, but this show really, really can wear on you, and it can be very traumatic, and it can be very draining, and it's just hard. And it's really hard when you live in a world where people just decide who you are and everything about your life, and there's nothing you can do about it. So,
Where do you stand with Chrishell now?
I don't know.
So this would be hers, and that would
This
be
is my closet.
and this is why we're not married.
Yeah, and a lot of other reasons.
You filmed with your ex-husband this year.
I did.
How did that even come about? Was that an idea you brought to the table? Did production ask you to do that?
I think he kind of did, actually. We were joking, like, we have a great relationship. We went through a really hard divorce, and he hated me for like a year because, you know, I filed for divorce and whatever. But we don't have bad blood. Like, I genuinely care about him. You know, our marriage, we were just much better friends. We should have never really, like, dated.
You had like a brother-sister dynamic.
Absolutely. And we did in real life, so it's kind of strange. Yeah, no, he brought it up one day, like, well, I'm gonna buy a house, maybe I'll just come on your show. And I was like, okay, come on, let's go. And then he just ended up on the show, so.
Did you wind up selling him a house?
No, he actually ended up buying another house in Nashville.
Okay.
And then he's still kind of looking, but he's very 1 foot in, 1 foot out with LA. So I think if he's to find one, it's gonna take us a very long time.
You know what I want? The Bre memoir, because I want those stories. I want the Hogan family stories. Would you ever go there?
Well, I might be maybe putting something out very soon that might tell you guys all of my stories. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't have any, you know, skeletons in the closet like Chelsea's trying to bring them out. Bring them out.
Here, I'll
bring
tell
them
you the
out.
whole
I'll
narrative.
tell you everything. Let me know.
You also filmed with Leggy.
Oh, what are you doing? No.
How does Nick feel about Leggy maybe getting into the family business too and following you guys?
You know, he's actually brought it up a couple times, like, you know, he should totally be doing this or be doing that because he does well on camera and he listens so well and everything for his age, and he has so much personality. So I think that that's probably maybe gonna be something we'll look into, but I'm not ready just yet because this is a lot.
Well, you're in the Terrible Twos.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say a terrible like show. I was like, oh yeah, that
No,
too.
the show is great to watch. It might be terrible to live.
To live, yes.
But no, the Terrible Twos with
Yes,
Leggy.
they're definitely
Are they
kicking
terrible?
in. Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's amazing and I love him, and in comparison to how it could be in horror stories I've heard, he's phenomenal, but it's definitely hard because they don't really understand yet.
But he has a lot to say now.
A lot to say, so.
I just got blinded by, you have a lot of diamonds on a certain finger. Is
You
there any
guys
story
did this
there?
to me during the season too, but like honestly, it's because after I had my baby, my hand's fat, and this is what it fits now.
So there's no story there.
No. And I will never get married again, so you can clock that real quick.
You never
Never.
want to get married again. You're happy living in.
There's no point in that. Like, you can have a forever partner and not need paperwork. And like, getting divorced took me longer than my marriage and way more expensive.
You write your own rules, and
I do.
I'm here for it.
Thank you.
And I also like, you are firm in those rules
Yes,
too.
I'm very firm.
How did you become that?
I think I just went through a lot of shit. I went through a lot of Chelsea's, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, I've been through a
Johnny's,
lot.
Chelsea's.
Yes, definitely. Johnny is definitely up there.
We're just getting through this season, but fans are going to want season 9, especially with how open-ended we leave season 8.
Yeah.
Do you want to go back? And if so, what would you like to see happen when you return?
I don't know. I feel like I don't mind going back because I'm not somebody that's like, I can't sit in a room with you guys. Like, I'm just fine. But I just feel like there's a few things that should probably change. I just don't think they ever will, to be honest.
What? Give me one.
The dynamic, the women, maybe we could be like grown up one day and just actually not try to claw each other's eyes out, but I highly doubt that's gonna happen.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you're on the wrong show.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
so.
you're looking
I think
for.
so for sure. But the vendetta's against me, so it's been pretty exhausting.
I think my favorite line of the season was,
You think that I can't sit in a room with a bunch of bitches that hate me? I'll be just fine.
I mean, if I let that affect me, like, how can people function?
I think a lot of your cast members would have more of trouble with that.
Yeah, definitely. Like Mary. Poor Mary.
Poor fragile Mary.
Poor Mary. Yeah, it's definitely a skill.
Well, you survived another season.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I barely crawled out.